I just got done finishing off the Kaito files, and I have to say, I'm pretty happy with it. Impressed with the story, and I miss hanging out with the characters already. Now, it wasn't a perfect experience, and there were a few moments where I just straight up said, this is bad. But overall, I'm really happy, really impressed, and really glad it was released, and I can't wait for what RGG have for us next. First, let's go over the positives that had me smiling while playing. The story. I enjoyed the story very much. It had the classic RGG playfulness, beautiful integration of its lovable characters, solid introductions of new lovable members to the cast, that warm familiar feel of Kamurocho, and the oh so good feeling of that classic build up to conspiracy that escalates to that ooh moment at the end in the final rooftop confrontation. It reminded me the most of Yakuza 4, and yeah, sitting on it kinda made me feel like I was playing that, well more accurately like I was playing Lost Judgment, elegantly twisted into that Yakuza 4 feeling thanks to the fact we were playing this with Kaito and a new cast of characters in this tight expansion. I will say, the ending moments left me with such a dumb smile on my face that definitely made me feel really good and satisfied overall with the end result. The pacing. I definitely felt this younger RGG team really came together towards the end of this project, as the pacing really tightened up and the quality stayed high and consistent during the last chapters and everything really clicked together. I breezed through the end. Once all the characters were fleshed out, the story was starting to hit its peak and I was familiar with the game systems, new and old, to make good use of them. The characters. I don't really think any characters besides one missed the mark here. The lovable favorites that return are fantastic as usual and have some moments of added personality, as the story being centered around Kaito allows more of their reflection of their goofy but lovable sides that are so emblematic of Kaito to shine for them as well. The new characters were surprisingly great in their own unique ways, which was an aspect that I really enjoyed. Mikiko got to be her own woman on a mission. The awkward doctor was explored in a way deeper path I didn't expect. The competing detectives introduced in the beginning evolved into some fine companions, and the main villains all wonderfully leaned comically into their own unique archetypes, but had enough room to wiggle in some of that RGG conflict of morality. I just love how much of a modern psychopath the main baddie turns out to be. It's classic, not an ounce of morality and no attempts at justification either. It really let the actors sell the performance in a delightfully over-the-top manner. I could take or leave the blue haired dude, and only some weak presentation choices let down the third conflicted villain. One of the main points here is that Jun had to be a solid character given his importance to this whole expansion, and I'm happy to say he's fantastic and acts just as well as the key characters that follow the main protagonists around in these games. The combat. The combat was really fun. It brings in the best moves from Kiryu in Zero into the Dragon Engine, while removing all the aspects that weighed down that experience. It was a fun time all round. It came naturally to me. I had a ton of fun mowing through enemies, and the satisfying nature and feeling in combat from the base game is still here. I also do appreciate the new moves, even if it does take a while to get used to the instant throw of the Bruiser Stomp. I say it makes even more of a distinction between it and Tank, as well as having some of the best moves once everything is fully unlocked. The primal sense and collectibles. I think this was done really well. It's like they looked at the base game, identified what dragged the pacing and what didn't, and refined it down so it's fun now to enter the detective mode. They also made some puzzles multi-stage now, with items you can use harkening back to some classic point-and-click games. Whoa, nothing lingers for too long. There are some clever placements of clues this time around. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and if you're stuck, you most likely have to use a clue you picked up from before in an interesting way, which I thought was really neat. That was all in terms of the main story. Out and about, you can use these three senses for collectibles, and I have to say, the small amount of them, yet still enough of them to populate the entirety of Kamurocho, felt like the perfect amount. All landmarks seem to have them in iconic places you would actually look at, and most of the memory pieces, that's basically just meaning pieces you find using the primal eye, are based off the main game or the first judgment's iconic locations, as well as iconic places throughout the city centered into our minds thanks to the rest of the series. Kamuru Theatre right next to the Millennium Tower, Bantam, Charles, the old Matsugani family office. Each location feels great to use as a place to pick up new skills, owing to their connection to the story and most likely the players that play them. One final mention of the positives is 1. The last fight of the game, and 2. The random encounters on the street with some powerful masked men, all hinting at association with a certain clan. I will leave it there and just say these are the kind of fights in this series I absolutely revel in and was so glad they were included. I will be reloading my saves just to go on with them again. However, it's not all positive, as the expansion absolutely needs some polish applied to it because it can be rough at times. Devil Leon already made a video covering most of it, and I do have to say I agree with him in most aspects he mentioned, except for the gameplay getting repetitive. I didn't really feel that, but then again, I did enjoy the bringing over of Yakuza 0's best moves into the Dragon engine. One thing that really got me were the in-engine cutscenes. At one point, it just gets stupid how rough it is. Ironically, to the point where I actually enjoyed what was going on, specifically because I found myself looking past what was actually on screen and imagining how I think they would have wanted the scene to actually play out. The in-engine character models absolutely botched the execution of their deliveries. The voice acting was out of pocket emotionally, and there were a disastrous set of jump cuts that tanked the scene I'm talking about. And I'm sure anyone who's played the game through knows exactly what I'm talking about. Luckily, from there, it all starts to pick up again and never loses quality further. But my word, was it bad. I'm lucky in one sense that I was able to look past it, and yeah, needless to say, some major work could be done there. The silver lining is because it's in-engine and it's mostly an issue with the camera work and character models, I was already in a sense of belief suspension, and it can only be more easily reworked than, let's say, a full cutscene can. Hopefully it does get a rework that comes along with a patch, because yeah, that would allow them an opportunity to tweak some QTEs, maybe add some dynamic scene intros into the mix, and hopefully, and I was shocked this wasn't a part of it, add in a premium adventure or New Game Plus, because it would enhance the experience greatly, and it worked so well in all the other games. So come on, RGG, please. All these are easily fixable. Oh my, I hope it happens. Probably not though. Finally, we come down to the price. Is it worth it? No. Almost everywhere the Kaito files on its own is around half the game's price, including here in South Africa, where it's over that. There should definitely be a $20 or at least 1/3 of the base game expansion. On that note, I don't think the rest of the season pass is worth it either. Yes, what they added was of high quality. It's just that its quantity doesn't at all justify the price. What's weird about my situation is I've been extremely lucky with my Yakuza purchases. I got Kiwami with PlayStation Plus free. I'm still looking into buying the Steelbook off my friend. Kiwami 2, yes, that is the game I got next. I'm not going in order for this. Was famously cheaper than the main games despite it being on the new Dragon engine. I got Yakuza 0 on sale and with some money left over from a gift budget I had. I got Yakuza 6 at a good price from a pawn shop, and I managed to snag Like a Dragon for 70% off. The only games I've paid full price for is the Remastered Collection, which is 3 games for the price of 1. The Judgment Remaster, which I got on the same day, I got that insane price for Like a Dragon, and of course now Lost Judgment. My luck doesn't stop there, however. I took advantage of Sony's year-end sale as well as some gift cards I'd gotten over the holidays from family, and basically only spent 15% of a general new game's base price out of my own pocket for the season pass. So for me, it was worth it, and I would say at a lower price point, again, that $20 looks good. This is definitely worth it right there, especially if they patch in some improvements.